Okay, now we're at the point where we're going to actually go in and fix the MongoDB connector. And it really needed just one thing, and that is to have a transform, a single message transform for order total to make sure that it's float 64. And that's going to fix what data is written to MongoDB in the format that it expects it to be in. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at our cluster. You can actually go in and do API keys and all that good stuff, which I will do in the next video. I'll show you how that's done. I did it via command line, but you can do it in the GUI there as well. It's not part of this workshop. Kind of want to stay focused, but just know that there's more than one way to get the Cloud API keys to create the connectors and view all the connector information. In our particular example, we're going to go to the demo cluster and take a look at our connectors. I did create a MongoDB connector. I got it running, which is great, and I wanted to validate the data. Everything looks good, and so what I've done is I went into the settings, and there's just a couple of settings that I wanted to talk about. Obviously, when I took this, I did the Oracle Fix 2, which is the one where we actually go in and fix the underlying view, and that worked great. So I'm going to select from that topic and write it to MongoDB. Then the other thing I wanted to do was write it to a new collection name, and instead of writing to customer orders, I want to write it to customer orders fix, so that I can compare the data and do a backup or whatever I need before I push this into production. So I'm just double checking everything. I created a new topic and started writing this data to validate that I was actually fixing it. Everything looks good. The other thing is the advanced configuration. We do have to have this transform, and the way this looks like is you give it a transform name. I selected cast value and some other stuff, so I'll recreate it here. I'm not going to save it, but this would be transform name. I just go with the default. It can be any name that you want to do. You cast the value, and the spec is this what field name you're looking for and what's its data type. In this case, it's a float 64. That matches the data type that is the decimal value precision type of thing inside MongoDB. And then I save that off, and so I can delete this because I'm not going to do any changes to it. It is up and running. It does work. Let's go and validate that. So we go into Confluent Cloud. We've already seen the messages that come through. Once it's up and running, it's actually pushing data to the MongoDB data, and I can actually see that yes, the order totals look correct. No longer are they rounded. This one's rounded, but the others are not, so that really was $11 exactly. And this was $10.24, etc. All that looks good, so I'm happy. The order IDs look good, the customer IDs look good, name, store ID, everything looks great. No complaints. So we fixed the problem. Now we want to go back and fix the problem. So let's start with MongoDB. This is our customer orders. I'm happy with the fix. I could just do a couple of things. What I want to do is go back to the original topic name, delete all the other additional topics that are out there, and reload this data. So let's see if I can do. So what I would do normally is I'd back this up, but we have a customer orders fix, which is kind of our backup at this moment. Same data, just fixed. So for me, I am going to actually drop the customer orders collection, gas pour. This would be something you'd want to do in a test environment, not necessarily production, because there's probably a lot of things running on it, but just for the example of this demo, we're going to go ahead and do that. So customer orders fix is out there, it's running. I'm going to stop the connectors. Basically, I'm going to go into my connectors here. I'm going to go to my Oracle one, and I am going to, I could pause it, but I don't need to. I'm just going to go into the settings. The only thing I want to do here is change the topic prefix, and I've actually done this to Oracle dot whatever, which is good. Since I've already done this, I'm going to go ahead and pause this cluster. And what I'm going to do, we obviously can create new topics, and I have. What I'm interested in is just this particular topic, and I want to clear it out. I don't want to mess with it anymore. So I go into this topic, just like I dropped the collection. I'm going to delete this topic. Now, again, you're going to be doing this a lot in development environments. Not recommended for production, but again, you can back things up, do restores, things of that nature. A lot of companies, they actually go through and they just have new topics and they move forward. This is version 1, version 2, version 3. That's perfectly fine as well. But you know what? I'm in a cleanup mood right now, and I am going to do, and if you're in dev, it's fine. Do not do this in production. I'm just going to go clean everything up. I'm happy with it. Don't need anything else. So I'm going to go into configuration and delete this topic, and it's the Oracle fix. And then I'm going to go into fix 2 and drop them as well. Let's go to configuration, delete that one. So we're getting rid of fix 2. So all our topics are scrubbed clean. And I'm happy. Okay, so we're back. I created a new Oracle connector. Take a look at the topics. Data's coming in correctly. These customer IDs and everything should be resolved. So let's go to the MongoDB connector, and obviously we want to change the settings so that it reads from the correct topic name. So edit. It's Oracle _ customer product orders, excuse me, by store. It's very difficult to select that when I can't. Let's see if I got it. Yeah. So Oracle _ order products by store. In some cases you have to go back out and retype it. It's actually looking it up to see if the topic is there. It should allow me to save the changes once it finds it. So it should. Let's go back to the topics again. Back settings. There we go. Save the changes. Again, a lot of these things can be done through a REST API. I will apply the changes, and one of the things that I did do here is also replace that with customer orders. We have a fix, but we don't have the customer orders. As soon as this thing kicks in, we should have customer orders and customer orders fix. So we have the same data flowing through. Yep, there we go. So here's customer orders, and if we take a look, it's loading in the documents. There we go. And we can actually see that it did have, it started obviously the very first order, but it's got totals which match to what we want to do. So everything is good. Now that I've got it fixed, everything from start to finish is flowing through. I can actually go ahead and delete the old customer data and move on. So that wraps up the workshop. We went through and were able to identify that all the different data types were being set correctly. We applied a transform. We did a lot of different things like that. So let's go back into the connectors just to make sure we've got the information. The transform that we did was a cast value transform, and I want to show that real quick. If I add a new SMT, it's going to show what we're doing, cast value, and then I basically type in whatever the field name is that I want to change, the column name, and then I give it the data type that's there. So this is actually in the documentation that I've linked in the you do a float 32, that's not going to work so well. Float 64, for example, and then you add that SMT, save the changes, and you're off to the races. So That's the last piece that we have to do there. Everything else is set fine. We're good to go. Thank you for your time.